I never thought I'd be the punchline at my own son's wedding. But there I was. Adeline Harper, 52, and supposedly the rock of this family, getting eviscerated in front of 200 guests like some bad rom-com side character. Mom, you're embarrassing me. Act like you belong here. Jake hissed through gritted teeth as the string quartet struck up Canon in D, his new bride. Sophia, smirking behind her veil like she'd scripted the whole damn thing. And in that split-second fury, with the scent of overpriced orchids choking the air, I made the call that would unravel everything. I canceled the 30 grand Maldives honeymoon I'd bankrolled, right there on my phone, mid-reception, while the toasts rang hollow. It wasn't just the words, it was the echo of every buried secret we'd both pretended was dead and gone. The ones I'd carried like a lead vest since he was 16. Jake had always been my golden boy. The kid I raised alone after his deadbeat dad bailed for Vegas showgirls. But that night, under the crystal chandeliers of the Ritz-Carlton in downtown Chicago, he didn't just call me out. He exhumed the corpse of our family's original sin and danced on its grave. The irony? I'd footed the bill for the whole circus venue. Caterers slinging Kobe beef sliders. Even the custom fireworks bursting over Lake Michigan like guilty confetti. 30 years of scraping by as a single mom in the Rust Belt grind of Gary, Indiana, turning night shifts at the steel mill into a nest egg that could buy forgiveness. Or so I thought. But Jake, fresh out of his MBA from Northwestern, engaged to Sophia Vanderbilt, yes, those Vanderbilts, old money wrapped in new Botox, had decided I was the relic holding him back from his Hamptons destiny. That whisper hit like a gut punch during the father-daughter dance equivalent. Except it was me, the stand-in for everything his absentee father wasn't. Sophia was twirling with her daddy, some hedge fund shark named Preston. All fake laughs and $1,000 stilettos clicking on the marble floor. Jake sidled up to me by the bar, his breath hot with single malt scotch, eyes darting like he was afraid the help might overhear. Mom, seriously? That dress? It's like you raided a thrift store for a high school prom. And stop hovering, people are staring. I froze. The champagne flute halfway to my lips, the bubbles going flat in my stomach. Staring? At me? The woman who'd lied to the cops for him 6 years ago. Who'd mortgaged our double wide to pay off his gambling debts from that underground poker ring in East Chicago. The one who'd buried the truth about his father's accident so deep it might as well have been in Lake Michigan itself. Yeah. They were staring all right, at the ghost I'd become in his rearview mirror. But I played it cool. Or tried to. Smiled that tight-lipped Midwestern grin. The one that says, bless your heart, without the southern drawl. Just making sure you're hydrated. Kiddo. Big day. He rolled his eyes, grabbed Sophia's elbow, and pulled her away, leaving me with a half-empty bar stool and a bartender who looked like he wanted to slip me his number out of pity. That's when the rage simmered low. Not the explosive kind from those true crime podcasts I binged on slow nights, but the slow-burn Midwestern variety. The one that festers like rust on an old Ford pickup. I slipped my phone out, thumb hovering over the Expedia app. The confirmation email for the honeymoon was right there. Overwater bungalows in the Maldives. Private chef. Sunset yoga, 30K. Wired from my 401k 2 months ago when Jake begged, Mom, it's our dream. Don't make me choose between you and her. As if he hadn't already. One tap. Cancelled. Non-refundable be damned. I'd eat the fee like I ate every other hit for him. The notification pinged softly. Booking cancelled. Full refund pending verification. I pocketed the phone, ordered another gin and tonic, and watched them cut the cake. Sophia's knife slicing through fondant hearts while I imagined carving out the lies between us. By midnight, the reception was a blur of uber-black exits and air-kissed goodbyes. Jake and Sophia piled into their chauffeured Escalade, bound for the Peninsula Hotel suite I'd also comped, oblivious to the digital guillotine I'd dropped. I drove home alone in my '08 Corolla, the highway lights streaking like accusations. Radio tuned low to some NPR segment on family estrangement. It's never too late to rewrite the narrative, the therapist droned. Bullshit. Some stories were etched in blood and bad decisions, and mine was about to get a sequel. The next morning, my inbox exploded. Jake's first text at 6:47 a.m. WDF mom? Sophia's crying. The resort called, said something about a cancellation? Fix this now. Followed by voicemails, each more unhinged. This is sabotage. You're ruining my marriage before it starts. Then Sophia's polished rage. Adeline. This is beyond petty. Preston's furious. We had influencers lined up for the gram. I sipped my Folgers Black, staring out at the snow-dusted backyard where Jake used to build forts out of scrap lumber. Petty? If only they knew the half of it. The real betrayal wasn't the dress or the hovering. It was the secret I'd guarded like a loaded gun. The one that started back in '09 when Jake was just a cocky teen with a chip on his shoulder bigger than the steel coils I hauled at work. His dad, Tommy Harper, hadn't just bailed. He'd OD'd in a Gary motel. Pills scattered like confetti around his Harley boots. But Jake? He'd found the body. Panicked. Called me sobbing. Mom. I gave him the stuff. He asked. Said it was just to sleep. Vicodin. Laced with whatever street fentanyl was cutting corners that year. Tommy begged for it after a bar fight left him concussed and raging. Jake handed it over, thinking it was mercy. When Tommy didn't wake up, Jake wiped the scene clean, pocketed the evidence, and made it look like a solo suicide. I got the call at 3 a.m. Raced over. Saw the setup. Cops were en route. No time for hysterics. You didn't see nothing? Jake. He was depressed, everyone knew. I confessed to the investigators that I'd been the one slipping him extras for my mill script, covering for my addict ex, out of some twisted loyalty. They bought it single mom. No priors. Tearful plea for leniency. Charges dropped to manslaughter probation. But I took the hit. Community service, therapy mandates, the scarlet letter of enabler tattooed on my resume. Jake walked free. Aced his G. Got that scholarship to Purdue. I buried the guilt. Told myself it was motherhood, sacrificing so he could rise. But secrets like that? They metastasize. Jake climbed the ladder, internships at Deloitte. That golden ticket to Northwestern, while I ground teeth through overtime, pretending the whispers at the plant didn't sting. Adeline's boy? Lucky he got out before she dragged him down. And now, with Sophia's Vanderbilt polish rubbing off on him, he saw me as the anchor, not the sail. I texted back, handle your own messes, son. Like I always have. Blocked the number. Poured a second coffee. Time to dig up the bones. The drive to Chicago that afternoon was a meditation in malice. Wind off the lake whipping my Corolla like it wanted to push me off I-90. I hadn't set foot in the city since the wedding prep, driving up with bakery samples, arguing over gluten-free tears like it mattered. Now, purpose burned hotter than the defroster's wine. Jake's old apartment, the one I'd co-signed before he upgraded to Sophia's Gold Coast high-rise, still had my spare key hidden under the mat. Nostalgia? Or leverage?
Inside,
It smelled like takeout lo mein and ambition, framed diplomas on the wall. A single photo of us at his high school graduation. Me in the same, embarrassing green dress I'd thrift stored for the occasion. Drawers rifled. Nothing incriminating. Just monogrammed cufflinks and a dog-eared copy of The Art of the Deal. But the laptop on the desk? Password. Mom Hero 2009.
cute.
Or damning. Files unlocked like Pandora's browser history. Emails to Sophia from a year back. Babe, Adeline's holding me back, always playing the victim card with Dad's death. We need distance. Then, buried in deleted items, a thread with Preston Vanderbilt, son, about that Gary incident. Loose ends? Discretion is key for the firm. Jake's reply? Handled. She took the fall, thinks it's noble. My hands shook as I screenshotted. The cursor a traitor trembling over forward. Not yet. Let it simmer. I logged into his Expedia account, same password, because irony, and saw the honeymoon itinerary mocked up with Sophia's Pinterest boards, bioluminescent kayaking, couples massages under palm fronds. Cancelled. But the refund? Already routing to my card. Poetic. By evening, I was back in Gary, the laptop stashed in my lockbox with Tommy's old letters, the ones confessing his debts. His flings. The real reason he never came home. Jake thought he knew the man, I knew the monster. And now, with the Vanderbilts circling like sharks scenting blood, it was time to remind my son that monsters make more. The call started at dusk. Jake. Unblocked just to hear him unravel.
Mom.
This isn't funny. We're at O'Hare, flights in 2 hours. Sophia's threatening divorce already. Laughter bubbled up. Unbidden. The kind that's half hysteria. Divorce? Over a trip? Sounds dramatic. Jakey. Like calling your mom an embarrassment in front of God and guests. Silence. Then venom. You always do this. Guilt tripped me into your corner. Dad would have hated you for this. Dad. The hook in my gut twisted. Your dad? The one you dosed like a lab rat? Yeah. He'd be real proud of the man you've become, marrying money to forget the blood on your hands.
Click. Dead air.
But the seed was planted. I poured a bourbon, Tommy's brand, wild turkey, and toasted the ghosts. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon through the snowdrifts of the past, and I was just lacing up. 2 days post-wedding. The fallout hit like a polar vortex. Jake's texts morphed from pleas to ultimatums. Cut the drama, or we're done. No more, family. Sophia's were colder. Corporate speak from her daddy's playbook, Adeline. This breach of trust warrants legal review. The funds were a gift. Expect repercussions. Repercussions? From a girl whose family fortune was built on insider trades and Epstein-adjacent parties? I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer buddy from the mill.
Ray.
Who chuckled over the phone like it was foreplay for a malpractice suit. Adeline. This is gold. Extortion?
Nah.
But defamation? We could bury M. But I wasn't ready to sue.
Not yet.
Revenge. The real kind. The American dream twisted dark. Thrives on the slow drip. The kind that erodes empires like acid rain on a Cadillac's chrome. I started small, a polite email to the Ritz-Carlton event planner. CCNG the Vanderbilts. Attaching a scanned receipt for the dress. Regarding the recent event, apologies if my attire didn't meet Vanderbilt standards. Enclosed proof of purchase, $29.99 at Goodwill. Perhaps a donation to their next gala?
Petty?
Hell yes. but it landed like a grenade in their Instagram-perfect world. By week's end, the tabloids nibbled, Chicago Sun-Times running a blind item, Windy City wedding woe, mother-in-law sabotages honeymoon over embarrassment snub, anonymous source? Through a burner email, Jake called from a hotel bar in Miami, where they'd scrambled to a last-minute Keys getaway on Preston's dime. Voice slurred. Accusatory. You leaked this?
Mom. You're killing me.
Sophia's packing, says she can't trust a family like ours.
Ours.
The word hung. A noose of nostalgia. I remembered the hours. Friday nights at Comet's Drive-In. Malts and matinees. Me quizzing him on algebra while he dreamed of Wall Street. But that kid died in that motel room, replaced by this stranger who'd trade blood for blue blood. Trust? Funny word from the boy who let his mother rot for his mistake. He laughed.
Bitter.
Mistake? It was mercy.
Mom.
Dad was a wreck, beating you, gambling us broke. You covered because you loved the drama. The martyr role.
Pause.
Then the flip. Sophia's right, you're toxic. Always have been.
Toxic.
The label stuck like tar. I hung up, drove to the old steel mill, now a ghost town of chain link and graffiti, where Tommy's accident report still yellowed in my glove box. Not accident.
Fight.
Over a debt Tommy owed to the wrong crew. The kind with tattoos and no mercy. Jake knew. He'd overheard. Even tagged along once to collect from a corner store debtor. When Tommy turned up dead, Jake's mercy dose was convenient camouflage. I confessed to the cops about supplying the pills. But the real secret? The debt was Jake's doing. He'd forged Tommy's signature on a loan for his first poker game. 16 and stupid. I'd found the papers months later, buried in his sock drawer. Confronted him once, tears and all. We don't speak of it, he begged. It'll destroy us. So I swallowed it, like the bile rising now. Toxic?
No.
Jake, loyal. To a fault. The plan crystallized over takeout egg rolls that night. Sprawled on my couch with Tommy's letters spread like a tarot deck. One from '08. Addie. The boy's got my fire, wild. But it'll burn him if you don't rein it in. Too late. I fired up my laptop. Dusted off the Ancestry kit I'd bought on a whim last Black Friday. Spit in the tube. Mail it off. DNA don't lie. And neither would I anymore. Sophia struck first. A week in. Certified letter from Preston's firm. Cease and desist. Defamatory communications. The Vanderbilt family will not tolerate baseless insinuations regarding past events. Baseless? I framed it on my mantle, next to Jake's baby shoes. Then, the call from Aunt Rita, my estranged sister in Milwaukee. Addie. Honey. The whole family's buzzing. Jake says you're unhinged. Canceled the trip out of spite? After all he's done.
Done?
Rita knew the half-truths. The polished version where Tommy was the villain, Jake the victim, me the saint. Spite? Rita? That boy called me trash at his wedding. And done? Ask him about Gary. She clucked. Maternal. Boys will be boys. Forgive.
Addie.
Family's all we got.
Family.
The word soured. Rita had bailed too. After Tommy's death, too messy for her Lutheran potlucks. I hung up, poured bourbon neat. Forgive? I'd built an empire of forgiveness. And it was crumbling under Vanderbilt heels. The Ancestry results pinged 2 weeks later. While I was elbow-deep in overtime at the warehouse gig I'd picked up to retire comfortably. Matches. 23% Eastern European, like Tommy's side. But the bombshell? A paternal cousin hit. First to second degree. Flagged urgent. Potential sibling match. Heart stuttered. Tommy? No, Jake's spit sample. Swiped from a coffee mug during a surprise visit last month. I'd suspected Sophia's whispers about prenups and purity tests, but this? Digging deeper. The site's family tree linked to Preston Vanderbilt. Not Sophia, Preston. A discreet clinic in the Caymans, 1995. Jake's conception date? Summer 94. Tommy sterile from a mill injury, or so the doc said. But Preston? Hedge fund shark. Sailing yachts in the Med. Rumored affairs like Wall Street bonuses. The pieces slammed. Tommy's rages weren't just booze. They were cuckold fury. Preston. Rita's college fling. The uncle who sent birthday cards with crisp hundreds. Jake wasn't Harper blood. He was Vanderbilt bastard. Hushed up when Rita confessed to Tommy in a moment of weakness. Tommy married me anyway. Raised him as his own. Until the debts and the mercy dose. I laughed. Manic. In the lab parking lot. Betrayal squared. Jake. The golden boy. Built on lies. And Sophia? Marrying her half-uncle? Incest light. Vanderbilt style. No police. Not yet. I booked a flight to Miami budget. Spirit Airlines. No frills. Time to flip the script. Face to face. The Keys Resort was easy to find. Bougainvillea walls. Infinity pools mocking my Corolla life. I waited in the lobby bar, nursing a piña colada that tasted like regret. When they strolled in, Jake tanned and tense. Sophia in a sarong that screamed, influencer escape. Adeline? Jake's face drained, like he'd seen the mill's blast furnace relight. Sophia's eyes narrowed. Claws out. What the hell? Stalking now. I slid the ancestry printout across the wicker table. Bourbon steady. Family reunion.
Kids.
Turns out, we're all Vanderbilts under the skin. Jake snatched it. Scanned. Blanched.
This. Fake. Mom.
You're delusional. Delusional? Like confessing to murder for a boy who's not even mine? Sophia gasped. Hand to throat like a soap opera diva. Jake's flip came swift. Shut up. You think this changes anything? Preston's my whatever. He invested in me. Not blood. Preston. The schemer. Pulling strings from boardrooms to bedrooms. Invested? Or covered tracks? That Gary debt? Not Tommy's, yours. Forged on Preston's card. He bailed you out. Then made you his pawn. Sophia bolted. Phone in hand, dialing daddy. No doubt. Jake leaned in. Whisper fierce. You ruin this. I swear, I'll expose you. The pills? Your prince. Your lie. Threat for threat. My heart raced, but the gin held. Expose away. But the world loves a fallen prince. Vanderbilt heir. Dosed his dad to hide a forgery? Hashtag cancel culture. He deflated. Eyes wet.
Mom.
Please. I love her.
Love.
The word that started it all. I stood, leaving the printout like litter. Then earn it clean. Or watch it burn. Back in the humid night. Palm fronds rustling like whispers. I felt the first crack in my armor. Revenge tasted sweet, but it left you hollow, staring at motel ceilings wondering if the monster in the mirror was you. The flight home was turbulence incarnate, literal and not. My tray table rattled like Jake's lies. The in-flight magazine's dream destinations spread a cruel joke on the canceled Maldives. Beside me, a sales rep from Detroit droned about his ex's alimony wars. I nodded, half listening, plotting my next move like a chess grandmaster on meth. Preston Vanderbilt wasn't just a name. He was the spider at the web's heart. Moo-mouthed and Machiavellian, flipping alliances faster than a day trader shorts a stock. By touchdown at Midway, my phone buzzed with Rita's number. "Addie, what in God's name?" Preston called. "Says you're slandering the family." "Jake's a wreck." Sophia's lawyered up. Rita's voice cracked, the potluck polish peeling. "He's my boy too. You know. That affair."
Tommy forgave.
For Jake. Forgave. I barked into the wind off the tarmac, hustling to my Corolla. "He beat the truth out of you." Rita then drank himself dead while I cleaned up the paternity mess. Silence. Then sobs. I was young.
Scared.
Preston promised child support. Discretion. When Tommy found out, she trailed. The unsaid heavy. The rages. The debts piled to drown the shame. Jake's forgery? Echo of that original sin. Preston's card max to help the secret son. Forgive me,
Addie.
but don't destroy him.
Destroy?
I was dismantling the facade, brick by blood brick. Too late.
Sis.
The Vanderbilts built this house of cards. I'm just the wind. Hanging up, I veered off the expressway toward Gary's underbelly. The bars where Tommy hustled pool. Where Jake learned to bluff. O'Malley's, neon flickering like a migraine, was packed with mill ghosts, guys like me, nursing drafts and grudges. I slid onto a stool, ordered wild turkey neat, and waited. Old habits. Tommy's crew still drank here. The ones who'd whispered about the suicide that smelled fishy. Mick Riley, grizzled as a '72 Chevy frame, spotted me first. "Addie Harper? Thought you retired fancy." His laugh wheezed, eyes sharp. Mick had been the debt collector Tommy stiffed, Jake's forgery target. Unknowingly. Retired?
Nah. Mick.
Just auditing the books. I slid a 20 across the scarred oak. Remember '09? Tommy's last ride. He pocketed it. Leaned in. Breath like stale smokes.
Yeah.
Kid handed him the score, said it was from you. But word is, the boy's the one who owed big. Vanderbilt money. Laundered through pop. Bingo. Mick knew street vines tangled tighter than family trees. And the fight? Before the OD. Mick shrugged. Evasive. Heard Preston's boy, you're Jake, tagged along once. Rough crowd. But Tommy took the heat. Like always. Always. The word looped as I drove home. Headlights cutting fog like scalpels. Preston's flip. Funding Jake's rise to control the secret. Dangling firm partnerships like carrots on a noose. Sophia? Collateral. A merger masked as matrimony. Keeping the bloodline looped in luxury. Sleep dodged me that night. Bourbon my only blanket. Dreams fragmented. Tommy's corpse. Jake's wedding smirk. Sophia's sarong swirling into a veil of flames. Woke to a dawn text from an unknown. We need to talk. Preston. Coffee. Neutral ground. 10 a.m. Starbucks. Loop. The loop buzzed like a hive, suits dodging tourists. The bean reflecting my warped face as I waited. Preston arrived in a Burberry trench. Silver fox hair gelled like his alibis. Coffee in hand, but untouched. Adeline.
Direct.
As always. Save the boardroom bullshit. Preston. You knocked up my sister. Saddled me with a bastard son. Then puppeteered his life like a tax write-off. He sipped. Unflinched.
Poetic.
But inaccurate. Rita was a dalliance, youthful folly. Tommy knew we paid dearly for peace. Jake, a bonus. Groomed for greatness. Until you meddled with that. Genealogy nonsense. Meddled. I laughed.
Sharp.
Nonsense? He's your get. Preston. And Sophia's half-sister. Ring any bells? Incest adjacent, scandal fodder for page 6. His eyes flickered. First crack. Leverage? Crude. Even for Gary Grit. Drop it. Adeline. Walk away with a check, 7 figures. Jake's future intact.
Bribe.
The American way.
Or.
You expose the forgery. The dose? Ruin him anyway? Flip smile. Paternal. Or weary right. Jake joins the firm proper. Vanderbilt heir apparent. You? Silent partner. With perks.
Perks.
Like the Maldives. But gilded. Temptation tugged. Retire real. No warehouse halls. But the hook in my gut twisted. For Jake? The boy who'd called me trash. Who'd let me bear the cross for his crown. No deal. I stood. Scattering sugar packets, like confetti. Tell Sophia the truth. Or I will. His laugh trailed me out. Truth? Kills more than pills. Darling. Back in Gary by rush hour. The plant's siren wailing like a banshee. I hit Ray's office. Dingy strip mall. Files stacked like Jenga. Adeline. You sure? This web's tangled. Defamation suits from 3 states. Sure as steel. I handed over Mick's scribbled affidavit. The ancestry docs. File what sticks. Quietly. He whistled. Revenge porn for the elite. But Jake, he's collateral. Collateral.
Like me.
All those years. Blood's thicker than ink.
Ray.
But lies? They bleed out. That night. Jake showed unannounced. First time since the wedding. Door banged open. Him in rumpled chinos. Eyes red-rimmed.
Mom.
Preston told me. Everything. I poured 2 bourbons. Handed one.
Sit.
Or run your call. He collapsed on the couch. Heirloom now mine alone. It's true?
I'm.
His. Yours. Vanderbilt poison. Harper heart.
Pause.
The air thick. Why'd you dose Tommy?
Jake.
Mercy. Or cover? Tears tracked. Both. He knew about Rita. The cards from Uncle P. Beat me once.
Bad.
Then the debt. I forged to pay him off. Make him love me. The pills? To stop the yelling. For you.
For me.
The twist gutted. Betrayal's blade cuts both ways. You called me embarrassment. Let Preston buy your silence. Flip, rage. You canceled my life. For spite. Spite? I canceled the lie. Bourbon burned. Choose. Son. Truth or the throne. He drained the glass. Stood.
Throne.
Always. Doors slammed. Echo of Tommy's exit. Alone. I wept for the boy I'd lost twice. Revenge's high faded. The low was a chasm. But the die cast. Climax loomed. polarizing as a jury hung. The lawsuit dropped like a bomb at a picnic. Preston's firm countersuing for intentional infliction of emotional distress, painting me as the vengeful harpy from the heartland. Chicago Tribune splashed it. Vanderbilt wedding scandal. Jilted mom torpedoes honeymoon. Uncovers family secrets. Reporters camped my driveway. Flashbulbs popping like gunfire in the Gary gloom. I waved from the porch in my robe, a coffee in hand. Comment later. Folks. Mill shift calls. Work was sanctuary, forklifts humming, steel singing under welders' torches. But whispers followed. Adeline's boy, the killer? Lies metastasized online. Reddit threads dissecting the dose, TikToks mocking my thrift dress. Jake went dark. Sophia posted cryptic reels from the Keys, choosing peace over poison. New beginnings. Preston's play, starve me out. Let public scorn do the dirty. Ray called mid-break. They're offering settlement, $5 million. Gag order. Take it. Counter. Truth in open court. No NDA. My voice steel. Hands grease black. Revenge wasn't cash, it was catharsis. The kind that scorches earth for regrowth. Rita arrived that weekend. Prius crunching gravel like bones. Addie.
Stop this.
Jake's suicidal. Preston cut him off. Sophia filed. Her eyes. Mirrors of mine.
Pleaded.
For Tommy's memory. Tommy? I snorted. Unloading grocery bags. Canned chili. The poor man's feast. He'd spit on this charade. Raised a lie. Died for it.
Inside.
Over weak tea. She cracked. Preston's flipping again. Blames me for the affair. Threatens exposure. Says Jake's unfit. A Harper taint.
Taint.
The word ignited. Let him. World's seen worse. Epstein's. Weinstein's. Vanderbilt's next. She paled. You're destroying us all.
Us.
The fractured us. I hugged her goodbye. Felt the ribs of regret. But mercy? Not mine anymore. The deposition loomed, a sterile conference room in the loop. Lawyers circling like vultures. Preston there. Silk tie askew. Jake beside him. Hollow-eyed. Sophia absent. Probably lawyering her exit. I swore in. Hand on Bible. Ray nodding like a coach. Questions flew. The confession. The pills.
The debt.
I answered flat. Jake panicked. I covered for love. Preston's counsel pounced. Love? Or guilt? You enabled addiction. Yes. Harper. Enabled. Flipped to fire. Tommy was broken. By your boss's bastardy. Preston funded the silence. Then the forgery. Check the ledgers.
Gasps.
Jake's head snapped up. Betrayal raw. Preston leaned. Whisper fierce. Perjury. Adeline. Truth ain't perjury. Ray slid exhibits. Mix Affy. Bank trails from '09. The room tilted. Preston's flip exposed. His investment a hush money ledger. Recess called. In the hall. Jake cornered me. Voice shatter. You did this? In court? Mom. Truth. Jakey. The hook you hung me on. Tears mine. First in years. I bore it for you. Now you bear. He crumpled. Preston hauling him away like luggage. We'll settle, the shark hissed. Out of court.
No.
The climax brewed. Courtroom or collapse. Back in Gary. The plant buzzed with my infamy. Coworkers slapped backs. Give 'em hell. Addie. But nights? Sleepless. Bourbon a ghost. Dreams of Tommy. Fight dirty.
Girl.
For the kid.
Kid.
Jake texted at 2 a.m. Can't do this.
Meet.
Whacker doctor. Midnight tomorrow. Alone. Trap or truce. I loaded my .38 Tommy's heirloom, oiled in the lockbox, and drove. Lake wind howling Armageddon. Whacker. Under the loop's concrete cathedral. Shadows danced. Jake waited by the river. Silhouette sharp against sodium lights. Mom. Hug. Bone crush. Preston's cutting me loose, says I'm liability. Sophia's gone.
Gone.
The word freed something feral. Your choice. Once. He pulled back. Eyes wild.
No, yours.
Cancel the suit. I'll confess. The dose.
All.
Just. Family.
Family.
The polarizing plea. Drop it. Salvage the boy. Or press. Topple the titan? Hart Ward, love versus ledger. Then. Headlights pierced. Black SUV. Preston's detail. Doors flew. Goons in suits. Preston emerging like a Bond villain. Touching. But over. Gun drawn. Casual. Adeline. The gun? Melodramatic. Flip to Jake.
Son, and this.
Or I do. Jake froze. The chasm yawning. My finger itch trigger. Back off. Preston. Or the ledger's leak. Worldwide. His laugh chilled. Leak? Already did. See the ticker? Vanderbilt stock dipping you're doing. But Jake? He'll swing for murder. Murder. The word detonated. Jake lunged. No. Tussle. Shadows blurring. Guns skittered. Riverbound. Fists flew. Preston's polished rage versus Jake's raw fury. I dove in. Nails raking. Midwestern mule. Enough. Sirens wailed distant. Someone's 911. Preston staggered. Lip bloodied.
You.
Monsters. Fled to SUV. Tires screeching. Jake collapsed. Sobbing. What now?
Now?
The polarizing precipice. Call cops on him? On Preston? Or vanish into night? Secrets resurfacing like bodies in the drink? I chose. Pulled him up. Gun retrieved.
Run.
Or fight. He chose. Fight. Together. We walked into dawn. The loop awakening oblivious. Revenge's climax, not victory. But verdict pending. No heroes. Just survivors scarred. The morning after Whacker was a blur of bad coffee and worse decisions. Jake crashed on my couch. The heirloom bourbon bottle our lifeline. While Rafe fielded calls like a switchboard operator on steroids. Tribs got wind. Anonymous tip on the riverfront rumble. Preston spinning it as assault. Cops want statements. Statements. Truth serum for the damned. I brewed Folgers. Black as the lake at midnight. And faced Jake over chipped mugs. Your call.
Kid.
Confess the dose. The forgery, we go down swinging. Or bolt. Canada's got no extradition for manslaughter light. He rubbed temples. Vanderbilt polish cracked. Sophia's filing, prenup ironclad. But she's suing for emotional fraud. Says I knew about. Us.
Us.
The incest shadow loomed. Controversial as a Trump tweet.
Knew?
Or hid. Preston's puppetry, flip after flip. From lover to liar. Jake's eyes. Tommy's blue. Hardened. He groomed me. Uncle gifts, then internships. The debt? He suggested the card. Family perk. When Tommy OD'd, he coached the cover. Let her take it. Women love the martyr bit. Her.
Me.
The disposable dame in their chess game. Rage reignited. But tempered, Jake's fracture mirrored mine. Then unstring him. A full board, affidavits, ledgers, DNA. Let the world choose sides. He nodded. Ghost of the boy who'd built forts. For you.
Mom.
Not spite. Not spite. The line blurred. We lawyered up proper. Raise firm on contingency. Pro bono for the Heartland hero. Depots ramped. Mick testified. Gravel voice steady. Rita crumbled on stand. A fair autopsy raw. Preston's flips mounted. Denials to deals. Countersuits crumbling under forensic accounting. Vanderbilt stock tanked 12%. Headlines howling. Dynasty of deceit. Billionaire's bastard bombshell. Sophia? The wild card. She surfaced at the courthouse steps. Paparazzi frenzy. In a power suit that screamed, "Tell all advance." Adeline, she purred. Mic'd to the gods. This feud? It's empowering. Women rising against toxic ties. Flip to Jake.
Sidelined.
You? Complicit. But redeemable therapy. Maybe a podcast. Empowering. The word galled my pain. Her platform. But polarizing? Reader split. Team Adeline trended in flyover forums. Rust Belt rallies chanting Gary Grit. Coastal elites decried class warfare in NYT op-eds. Preston's PAC's funding smear ads. Climax crested in federal court. Chicago's dirge of rain lashing windows like judgment. Preston on stand. Silver tongue tarnished. A dalliance.
Yes.
But Jake? My legacy. Not liability. Cross-exam. Ray eviscerated. Ledgers projected like sins on a screen. Legacy? Or laundering? Hush funds to a forgery felon. Jury murmured. Preston flipped final. Plea. Misdemeanor wire fraud mine. Jake walks. Clean.
Clean.
The offer hung. Judas Silver. Judge recessed. Antechamber huddle. Jake to me. Take it? For us.
Us.
Fractured. But forging. I met Preston's gaze across the oak. No. Full truth, or no deal. Gavel fell. Mistrial vibes. But settlement whispered. Preston resigns board seat. Funds Jake's reparations trust. Gag lifted partial. Sophia? Divorce ink dried. Her book deal blooming. Veiled vendettas. A bride's betrayal. Twist landed post-verdict. Rain slick steps. Jake's envelope. Hand scrawled. Mom, I'm out. Not firm. Not Vanderbilt's.
Gary?
Mill apprenticeship. Your old crew. Truth's my penance. Enclosed. Key to a condo mine. Paid from his trust slice. For the embarrassment who saved me.
Saved.
Debatable, the jury's still out. Forums flaming. Hero or homewrecker.
Me.
Adeline Harper. No Vanderbilt varnish. Just Gary Grit and ghosts. Months blurred. Jake welded beside me. Sparks flying like second chances. Rita visited. Potlucks thawing. Preston faded to footnotes. Yachts sold for settlements. Sophia's book? Bestseller. But reviews raved exploitative. Karma's footnote.
Me?
Bourbon lighter. Dress thrifted bolder. Revenge? Not catharsis. But catalyst. Polarizing pyre that burned illusions. Birthed something raw. Happy? Tragic? You decide. In America, endings ain't tidy. They're debates over diner pie, where no one's wholly right, and the bill's always shared. The lake whispers now. Secrets surfaced. No more buried. And in the quiet, Tommy's voice. Good fight, girl.
Yeah.
Damn good.